Jessii Vee and welcome to my new book review channel. It's called Jessie's Bookshelf, as you probably witnessed. I don't know why, but I feel so nervous right now having a new channel. I feel like I've gone back to like 2014 when I just started YouTube. I have the butterflies in my stomach right now. So I firstly want to say thank you so much to everyone who subscribed to this channel. I'm gonna assume that if you did, you like books or you actively read them or are interested in reading them, because it might surprise you. Yes, I love to read. I was super into books in elementary school, in high school, and I stopped reading for a while when I was in college. I was just so busy. I lost my groove of reading, but now I'm back. I actually started back in September reading again. I started with the ACOTAR series, which I feel like a lot of people can relate to. I feel like that series got many people back into reading. So I thought I would start my first video reviewing one of like the most popular series I've heard about, mostly on TikTok to be honest. This is the Folk of Air series, aka The Cruel Prince. I have them out of order. Whoops. This is the first book in the series right here, and I wanted to review it because everybody talks about it, and I'm just gonna say right now I probably have a very unpopular opinion because I didn't love it as many people have. And I think that it's okay that we all have different opinions on books. So if while you're watching this channel, let's say I don't like a book that you love, that's okay. We can still be friends. And do you only want to watch book reviews of people who had the exact same opinion as you? Because that sounds kind of boring. Isn't it more interesting to hear someone disagree with you? For example, I loved the ACOTAR series and I would love to watch a review of someone who didn't like them because I'd want to know why. Like, I'm so intrigued by that, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just good to hear different perspectives. So if we're already starting off at a point where we don't agree, let's say you love this series and I don't, that's good. That's good. We're starting off good. Your life is about to get super interesting. All right, so the Folk of Air series. First we have The Cruel Prince, then we have The Wicked King, then we have The Queen of Nothing, then we have a novella with pictures, and it's called How the King of Elfame Learned to Hate Stories. So in this book we have a main character named Jude. She is a human living in the mortal world with her twin sister and her older sister who happens to be half fae. Now this book starts off with a bang because when she's little, she witnesses the brutal murder of her parents, and then her and her sisters are stolen away to live in the treacherous high court of the fairy, and they're actually brought there to live with their parents' murderer who eventually becomes their father. Kind of messed up. The thing is, it's very dangerous for mortals to live in this world because a lot of the fairies actually despise humans, so they get bullied, they get attacked, and a lot of humans actually get taken to be slaves. The twins, especially Jude, becomes a target of Prince Cardan, and throughout this book she has to learn to stand up for herself. And this series actually incorporates a lot of Celtic folklore and mythology, which I found really interesting. It follows a lot of classic fairy legends such as fairies can't lie, if humans go and dance with the fairies they won't be able to stop, turning your clothes inside out makes you invisible from the fairies, wearing rowan berries around your neck protects you as well, and many more. So they stay very close to the actual legends that we all know. And this book also has very traditional fairy names such as Brambleweft, Toadfloss, Tatterfell, Noggle, Narbonne, and many others. Now, like I said, every single book talk video was telling me to read this series, so I finally listened, okay? I listened to book talk. And what I found really interesting is that many people were saying things like, if you loved the ACOTAR series, you have to read this next. This is just like ACOTAR. The romance is the same as ACOTAR. And all I have to say is, no, it's not. Not even close. Listen, the series definitely wasn't bad, but it also wasn't super amazing. I'll tell you right now, 2 out of the 3 books I rated a 3 out of 5 stars. That's not a terrible rating, but it's also not like a reread for me. I noticed almost immediately that this book was definitely made for a much younger audience, and you're probably like, well, obviously, Jess, it's literally a YA book. And I gotta say, I didn't know that. I didn't know that when I went to read that. Also, a PSA for being subscribed to this channel. Although I'm open to reading some YA books because I'm sure there are a lot of really good ones, I do tend to read more new adult and adult books, so the themes are much more mature. So if you are a young viewer coming from my main channel, some of these themes may not be for you, but I'll definitely warn you at the beginning of a video if that is the case, because like ACOTAR, Blood and Ash series, those are those are intense. The spice levels are way up here for those. Speaking of spice levels, I've noticed that's like a theme on like book talk and like book review channels to give like a spice out of 5, meaning like how sexual are the books basically. And if I had to rate this on a spice level, it would be a 0. No spice. If you're coming for spice, there's no spice in this book. Which is not bad. Like, books don't have to have anything sexual in them to be good, obviously. Like, I do like my books with a little bit of spice. Like, a little bit. Like, maybe like a small to like a medium level. I don't usually like things at a high level because I feel like that takes over the whole plot and it loses me, you know? It loses me if it's too spicy. So it was so weird how this book was being advertised as like super romantic, super spicy. If you read ACOTAR, read this book. No, those are lies. Which is okay. Like I said, it doesn't have to have spice, but call it what it is. It ain't spicy. There's not even any black pepper on it, okay? Like when I picked up this book to read it, I thought I'd be getting a really great fantasy plot, which it did deliver, but I also thought that I'd be getting some romance like people were advertising, but there really is like no romance in this, which I know is controversial because everyone's like, oh no, like Jude and Carden, they're my whole entire world. And I know they have a thing going on, and no, that's not like a spoiler because the way it's advertised, like everybody knows about Jude and Carden, and I know people are gonna hate me for this, but I don't see the chemistry. They have no chemistry. Where do you guys see the chemistry with them? I just found Carden to be so unlikable, and I know that he was written that way, especially in the first book, hence why it's literally called The Cruel Prince. I get it, like I get it, but also he never redeemed himself for me. Throughout the whole series, I found him annoying. There was just no chemistry between him and Jude. There was something so frustrating about his character that I could not overcome, and to be honest, I didn't love a lot of the characters in these books. Like I can't think of one character who I was like, yes, loved them. Not even Jude. I've just read so many other books where the two main characters have better chemistry, where I root for them, where I dream about them, but they're forgettable to me. Like when I finished this series, I was like, okay, on to the next one. But for example, when I finished ACOTAR, I thought about that for months. Feyre and Rhysand? For months. And listen, I do love the whole enemies to lovers trope, so it's not about that. It's not like I'm a hater about like them starting off hating each other and then loving each other. I actually love that trope. So that's why I was excited for this series, and it just let me down. But like the plot was there, the fantasy elements were there, which is why I gave the first 2 books, I can't even find it, the first 2 books I gave a 3 out of 5, which I don't think is a terrible rating. Comment down below if you loved these books and you think that like Jude and Carden are like the best thing ever. Tell me why. Like in all honesty, like I just want to know what your thoughts are as to why they're like a power couple to you. Also, and maybe this is controversial as well, I don't like Carden's tail. I don't like his tail. It makes me uncomfortable. Like there's quotes like, the tail lashes the air behind him. And the fact that it strokes her leg while they're kissing? Please know, like I found myself trying to pretend it didn't exist. Anybody else? Okay, so the very last book, which is called The Queen of Nothing, I gave it a 0.5 higher than the other 2 books. This one's a 3.5 out of 5, okay? And like this book really hooked me from the beginning, and I was excited. I was like, finally, maybe the last book will be the best, because the whole fight with Jude and Grima Mog, yes, that was interesting to me. Okay, so now that you know my thoughts on the 3 books, and I wasn't trying to get into like tons of spoilers, which is why I wasn't like diving right into the plot, just in case anyone wants to read them. But then lastly, we have the novella, which I didn't even know existed until I finished the 3rd book, and then I was like rating it on Goodreads, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, the novella. There's a novella? So I got it. I didn't know it would look like a kid's book. No offense, but it resembles a children's book to me. And there's like illustrations inside. And listen, I'm an artist. I love illustrations, and to be real with you, the illustrations in this book is actually what kept me wanting to read. I felt like a child all over again. But it was weird to see Carden's tail actually drawn out on paper. I wish I could unsee that. Overall, it's a really beautiful looking book, okay? We can all agree on that. Love that the title is all metallic and stuff. Really cool. I did just give this a 3 out of 5. I would have given it a 2 out of 5 for the plot, but because of the art inside of it, I lifted it up 1 point. But we can probably all agree that this book is kind of pointless, right? it's kind of pointless. This book basically just shows Carden's side of things, you know, from the first Cruel Prince book. When he first meets Jude, when he's bullying her, you really see his perspective in this one. It also shows some scenes from his childhood. It shows him and Jude back in the mortal world. It's just like a bunch of like short excerpts from his life. Anyway, I'm gonna end the video here. So yeah, overall, if I had to rate the entire series, I'd give it a 3 out of 5. I think it's worth the read if you're interested in all the things that I listed. And I wanted to let you guys know I do have a Goodreads profile, so if you guys want to follow me on there, I don't have any friends on there yet, okay? I've literally been making reviews anonymously, so if you want to follow my Goodreads, I will link it down below. I'm only allowed to have 5,000 friends on there, and I will accept all of you. So until I hit like my max, I will add you on Goodreads, and you can see me actively reading books, so you know what's coming next in my reviews. You can see me like rating them. Goodreads is such a cool app. I'm so glad that I found it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give this video a thumbs up if you like this. If you want me to continue making book reviews, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope no one's mad. Because the thing is, like, we can all be friends and like different books, just like I said. But yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for all of your support. I love you so much. And I will see you in my next book review. I've never said that before. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyways. Bye!